So how many people here have ever had an idea for a product? Raise your hands. Okay, it's 90%. How many actually built a product? Very many. And how many of you who built a product actually launched it? Okay, solid. Just for context, it was about 90%, then we went to about 30, and at the end, maybe 10% of people in the stage. So today we will talk about how we at Flowout validate ideas that we get as founders or even our team members with Webflow Apps and why that's a good launch pad. So a bit about me. I'm one of the co-founders at Flowout. I'm the right one there standing with Luca and Sergey, the other two guys. So we started Flowout about 4 years ago with the idea of starting an agency to be able to fund our ideas to actually build products, which we came to in about 2022 when we launched our first one. My background is in engineering. Sergey and Luca are both designers. I launched products even earlier as well using different stacks such as Ruby on Rails, and developed websites and apps as well in Rails, WordPress, and React, which are stacks that are, at least Ruby on Rails these days is not so well known anymore, but it was a big thing about 10 years ago. We're also an enterprise partner working with many clients mostly from the US. We've also built a few apps for clients and the Webflow marketplace, such as, let's say, Stripe or Zapier and similar. So we're based in Slovenia. We're quite a large team right now. There's about 50 of us full-time. I think it's 47 to be accurate. We've been enterprise partners, as mentioned, and we built 4 SaaS products until now. We launched 3, so one's coming in a week or 2 to the marketplace, and we actually sold one of them as well. So we have one exit behind us. And these are the apps we built. So our first app was Linguana, which we sold in 2023 to an indie hacker from the US. We also launched Webflow, which is our first Webflow app per se. So Linguana was launched before Webflow actually had a marketplace. And we were launch partners for the marketplace with Webflow. So Webflow is a very simple video hosting solution for Webflow, essentially expanding on Webflow's native features by hosting videos and having a video player. Last year, we also launched Optibase, which now also has millions of tested users and also thousands, I think, of registered users, and is currently Webflow only, even though it was developed as a general tool. And next week or the week after, depending on how fast we can get all the marketing materials together, we're launching SyncMate as well, initially on Webflow and later expanding on similar to WordPress. So why are we launching all of our apps, which are general products? So our apps are not specific to Webflow necessarily, except for maybe Webflow. Why do we launch them on Webflow-first? So it's a very fast-growing platform. There's more and more clients for all of us here who have agencies, and all of these clients need these solutions. So as you can imagine, this means that they also need apps. They need to buy products to be able to accommodate the need. The marketplace is actually pretty uncrowded these days. So there's still opportunity for apps. Like, for example, you might go to a website with top 100 WordPress plugins and just pick some of those and basically develop your own app. Because there's likely not an alternative for Webflow yet. And it's also a very big and very connected community. So as events like this, and maybe events in the US and all around the world these days show, as well as Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on, the community is very connected, and it's growing as well. So there's more and more agencies, more and more people working with Webflow and working within the ecosystem. So this is everything I just said. So what happens if you have an idea? So what do you usually ask yourself? Okay, this is my idea. This is the business I want to start. This is the product I want to build. What should you do at that point? So we at Flowout, we have a few, let's say, validation questions or a validation cycle we usually go through. And the first thing is that each idea that we want to build, that we actually start building, needs to be a solution to a problem. So it needs to solve a pain point. So inconvenience is usually not considered a pain point. So if you make something that's just easier than something that already exists or is a native feature, it might not make sense to develop it. It should solve a real problem. So it should be, let's say, a product that expands on core features. It should be a product that is currently not integrated in the platform or is very badly integrated, like, let's say, I don't know, e-commerce specifically with Webflow. Or it can be a totally general idea like A/B testing, and you just want to test it out and launch the product and see where it can go. Webflow is a great place for that because there's just no alternatives currently. So our examples, for example, how our thought process worked with Webflow and Optibase. So users can't upload and host videos in Webflow, except for background videos, of course. So the only alternatives at that point were essentially Vimeo or Vistia or hosting them on YouTube. So what we did is we developed an app, launched an app, and currently this app has 10,000 users. The second one, for example, with Optibase, there was no affordable and integrated A/B testing solution on the market. Now Webflow has Optimize, which they acquired, which ticks almost all of the boxes except maybe the affordable one. And also Google Optimize at that point was basically being sunset, so there was essentially nothing stopping us from building it. The next thing is essentially asking yourself, is anyone ready to pay for what you're about to build? Is anyone ready to pay for your product, for your idea? And how many users are going to pay for it? So we usually do this by actually trying to sell something before we start building it. What this means is most of the times we would offer a lifetime or a discounted annual plan on a landing page before actually starting to build. We would create a prototype. So for example, just in Figma, a few screens, how that would work, how it would look. Of course, we do our research, how we actually can build this, so we don't promise something that's not really possible to do and not doable. And we set a goal. So we say, okay, if we sell an X amount of these plans, we're actually going to go ahead and build it. If not, we can, at the end, they refund the money or refund more than actually was paid with interest. So at the end, it's a very win-win situation for both sides. Either the customer gets a very affordable, very discounted product, and you get essentially your initial validation for the business model that you're about to offer, and basically they also get the app when it's launched. So an example of this exact case is Optibase, where we said, okay, if we sell over 20 lifetime deals at $1,000, we're going to build a product. We sold 25 at the end, so there was revenue come in, which we could actually use to develop the app at that point. And also validate our idea. So we had a KPI which was fulfilled. This means that we can actually build the app. We actually went ahead to build it. We do promise deadlines, so it can be a bit stressful. So if you say, okay, if you pay us $1,000, the app is going to be live in, let's say, 3 months. It has to be live in 3 months or maybe a week or two delayed. The last thing that we usually recommend is choosing a tech stack. So once you validate all the previous steps, of course, and the tech stack can be very important as a factor of your validation as well. So you might not have the skills, you might not have the knowledge to, let's say, code. You might not have the knowledge to develop an app with code. You can use a no-code stack as well, like Julian talked earlier, or you can actually pay someone to do it for you. While we do not maybe recommend outsourcing development of your core product, it is a possibility. So it's a good way to save costs. Essentially, you know what your budget is, you set a budget and essentially try to find someone who's going to do it for that amount of money. So at the end, if your product actually solves a pain point, if it solves a problem, it's a solution product, if enough people are ready to pay for it, and if actually sell some of the plans in advance, at that point we would say that we can start building the product. That's it.